Today we're speaking with Joel Freudman, co-founder and CEO of TRU Precious Metals, which trades on the TSXV under the symbol TRU, as well as the OTC and Frankfurt exchanges. TRU is exploring its flagship Golden Rose project and its Twilite Gold Project, both along the Cape Ray Valentine Lake Shear Zone. TRU is $6.3 million in working capital and is led by experienced executives with geological, capital markets, and legal expertise. Joel, welcome.
Thanks, Josh. Good to be here.
Absolutely. So, Joel, TRU put out news on Wednesday announcing the results from your Twilite 2,500-meter drilling program and an update to the Golden Rose property. I want to speak about the Golden Rose later, as there's been a lot of excitement to get work started there. But first, I want to drill down on these Twilite results. So, while you're finding gold mineralization, the results to date, frankly, aren't stellar, which I think is fair to say at Twilite. What are the company's thoughts on your first drill program there?
I think it's a fair question, Josh, and I'm glad you asked it. I'd say there's cons and pros from that drill program. Obviously we'd like to see higher grade. I think that's very easy for any gold exploration company to say. It would have been great to see longer continuity from the more recent holes, as well as higher grades. In addition, that was the first drill program we've ever done as a company. And so we did have to kind of sort through a number of operational things around, for example, getting back rush assays from the lab in order to guide our program in real time. So there are downsides. There are, at the same time, numerous pros from this drill program, even including the latest results. I mean, number one, we factually have gold in all the drill holes that we completed on our project so far. That's certainly a good start for a property. That's our secondary property. And I'd say, in addition, if you even look at our most recent press release, I guess it was from September 15th, where we put out our latest batch of drill results, you can kind of already start to see that the gold trends toward the northeast. Unfortunately for us, some of our holes are towards the southeast of this structure, where there's less continuity of gold mineralization and the grade tails off a bit. So what does this tell us? Well, whenever it comes time to do more drilling on the property, it would be a natural place to work towards the northwest of the structure, where there's been some good historical intercepts, as well as our first holes, which had good continuity of mineralization.
Yeah, very interesting. And I think lots of people are looking at results from some of the Newfoundland Gold Belt discoveries like Newfound and Labrador, who are recently announcing phenomenal grades. What do you feel investors should be looking for as realistic gold grade drill results for a company operating the Gold Belt like TRU?
That's also a good question because, as you mentioned, Newfound Gold, also Sokoman comes out with some high grade intercepts. Though, especially Newfound Gold, which has probably now gotten enough publicity from every other junior in the region, that's like a world-class discovery. You're not going to have those out of every single company, but it also doesn't mean every other company doesn't have something on their hands. To give people kind of a realistic idea of grades, 0.5 gram to 1.5 grams per ton of gold is low grade, 1.5 to about 5 grams per ton is medium grade, and anything over 5 grams per ton is high grade. Now, if you look at some of our neighbors, most notably Matador Mining and Marathon, both of whom have significant gold deposits on either side of our main project, the Golden Rose project, their grades are like average 1.7 grams per ton, 2.25 grams per ton. And Marathon is building a mine based on roughly 1.7 grams per ton. So you don't actually need these crazy numbers to make a project, to contain enough gold and to make it viable for a mine. You just want to see good continuity of mineralization and decent grade. So obviously anywhere in medium grade would be nice. And even in the higher end of low grade. So again, you're talking above 1 gram per ton, above 2 grams per ton, you start to be in a very interesting scenario for building gold deposits. So I think those are kind of good reference point numbers. And then when you do have a Newfound Gold, or you have, let's say, Sokoman or Lab Gold, they hit short intervals of high grade intercepts. Those are pretty spectacular. They're not at all the norm. That also does not in and of itself make a deposit. You need both grade and continuity. And so there's kind of it's a broader matrix than simply a specific number that decides whether a gold deposit is a deposit and also eventually whether it'd be economic to mine it. I think that's kind of worthwhile to keep in mind.
Okay. So let's pivot to TRU's flagship asset, the Golden Rose property. Your quote caught my attention. The company's obviously very excited about Golden Rose, and I don't believe that's a surprise to anyone who's been following TRU. We've been hearing a lot about the property sandwiched between Marathon and Matador, and you've outlined your main objectives for the drill program, which I have here in front of me, being 1, infill drilling at the Southwoods Lake Gold Zone to delineate the known mineralization, and two, exploratory drilling at the recently optioned King George 4 claims in hopes of making a new discovery. So Joel, tell us more about these initiatives, why you're excited, and update the audience on these plans for Golden Rose.
I thought as a CEO and as a company, it's important for us to continue to put out guidance to the extent we can to the market, because we do expect to be measured based on our progress. And so for Golden Rose, the reason we put out these objectives is Golden Rose is a massive project. It covers 45 kilometers of strike length on this Cape Ray Valentine Lake Shear Zone, basically one of the best streets, let's say, for geology or for gold geology in Newfoundland. There's a lot of land there to cover. It probably takes a year or two to fully explore just the surface of that property. Well, we obviously don't have that kind of time or money. We got to target our drilling program, and we want to do it effectively where we're most likely to get some good hits to really validate that the property is exciting and has merit. Southwoods Lake Gold Zone it's a known gold zone. So there's already been about 40 or 50 historical drill holes put in there. The property was dropped in a different commodity price environment, not where you have gold at today's prices. And there were numerous gold intercepts. And also, again, to give this frame of reference, although there was a few kind of blips of high grade, it was more intercepts. There was good continuity. So you get these long stretches of 10, 20 meters or more of a gram, 2 grams, 3 grams per ton. That's kind of a realistic target for the Southwoods Lake Gold Zone. Anything else is just upside for us. It's far from being fully explored, but we know there's gold there. And what our goal with this infill drilling is to kind of push it towards what we would eventually hope would become a resource. So basically, let's kind of prove up the historical drilling, see what else we can find that's new, to start putting more parameters on what's known to be in the ground at Southwoods Lake. The other area, which is more kind of the blue sky potential, and which certainly our exploration team is particularly excited about because it hasn't seen so much work, but there's good initial indicators, is this King George 4th property. I don't think we even referred to the name back in mid-July when we picked it up. It was some claims we optioned, but there was visible gold on the surface there. So, I mean, it's great to look for gold where you've already got gold. There's a bunch of visible gold grains on the surface along the shore of this lake. Seems like the gold is coming from somewhere on the property. There's really not much more work done than that. So we've done some work recently. We just finished an aeromagnetic survey. We're doing an IP survey. These are things that are publicly disclosed. They're basically types of work we're doing to add to the data pool we have that we can feed to our technical services provider, Gold Spot Discoveries, and they're going to use their army of PhDs and geologists, as well as their artificial intelligence technologies, to analyze what limited data we do have on these King George 4th claims and help us develop drill targets. And so that, again, will be pretty exciting because it's never been drilled before. There is obviously gold even at the surface. So it's up to us to kind of effectively target the drilling there to see what's underneath the ground and what kind of continuity or grade might be underneath the ground. So, we think that's, as a starting point for a 5,000 meter drill program, we think that's pretty good. There's 2 clear zones on what's a very, very large property. And, let's get a better handle on what we have at those 2 zones to make plans for future drilling, as well as regional exploration to follow on these efforts.
Awesome. And Joel, last question for new investors: why TRU? Why now?
Well, this is going to be almost a bit of a contrarian answer, perhaps at this point. I certainly am aware of our share price, which has kind of got knocked along with every other gold company and certainly all the other Newfoundland gold companies. I think the sentiment on the sector is probably fairly negative right now, which tends to be good contrarian buying points, because when most people have given up, there doesn't tend to be a lot of selling enthusiasm left. But I think more specific to TRU, so that's kind of a sector level for gold. More to TRU specifically, we're about to launch this drill program, the first drill program we've ever done at Golden Rose. Golden Rose is the flagship asset of the property. Again, huge property, already known gold based on the historical drill holes. And I've said this a bunch of times before, but it's sandwiched between 2 known significant gold deposits. One is Matador Mining, who has 840,000 ounces on one side, and on the other side, Marathon Gold, they have over 4 million ounces. They're literally our next door neighbor. And so we control 45 kilometers of land right between those. And each of those properties has it's like a string of pearls, a whole bunch of mini deposits, medium-sized deposits, large deposits. What we're, of course, hoping to prove out is that continuity, that continues along our strike of our property. And so we're about to launch this drill program. You're getting in where there's the entire kind of program to be rolled out ahead of you, which is obviously an upside catalyst. It's now up to us to deliver on the exploration results in terms of executing the program and hitting the best results we can possibly turn up. So that's really the exploration, the catalyst for the company right now. It's going to be over the next 2 to 3 months that we do the drilling and start to roll out results over that period, and even probably a month or two after that. And so I guess I'm excited about it, and I went out and bought some shares this morning. So I think now is probably as good a time as any for people who are looking in a contrarian time for gold, and at a company that's just about to launch a drill program at its flagship asset. You've got all the catalysts ahead of you for a good setup.